Hello, everyone. Welcome to Jamaica 411. Thank you so much for joining me today. I'm your host, Michelle Stern. Well, Paul Buchanan. Paul Buchanan. What must we say about Paul Buchanan? Well, I think that this man was sent. Patrick Roberts removed, and this man was sent to do exactly what he's doing. Irrespective of what the result was, he is going to do exactly what he was sent to do. And this is another attempt by these risers to target Andrew Holness. The JLP has made Andrew Holness the man. And so it led these risers to believe that all you have to do is to bring him down, to bring down the Jamaica Labour Party and win the elections. Except it has been proven quite a task. And right now, there's another 5 years. And that so-called, the alleged Integrity Commission will have to at some point relent. Either they relent or the court is going to make a decision. And based upon what they said, at least what Craig Beresford said in that affidavit, second affidavit, all he's waiting on is confirmation of the source of income for the three companies, well, two companies now that Andrew Holness now owns. And that, he said, is all that was needed to be certified. Now, Beresford has since demitted office, and there has not been a replacement. And we anticipated, because we believe that the Integrity Commission is behaving a certain way to gain a certain objective, that they were never going to replace Beresford before the election was called. Had they done so, and the new office holder, especially if it turned out to have been a woman, they may decide to look at Andrew Holness's statutory declarations and satisfy themselves that all the information that they need is there and all his assets and liabilities are accounted for, and then determine that they should recommend certification. That would not have suited the interests of some of those persons in that Integrity Commission. And therefore, I believe, and remember, this is my belief, not facts, that the Integrity Commission, some elements in it, they have no real interest in replacing Craig Beresford anytime soon. As long as they can get away with that position being vacant, so much the better. Because based upon what Beresford said, a new person may decide, as I said before, to recommend certification. And that could be very embarrassing for certain people. So there is that. So Paul Buchanan was sent to be that agent to continue with the attempt to demonize Andrew Holness. And it just is not working. But he's trying nonetheless. And good luck to him.
So I'm going to ask you just this. Did you win the election?
It's an interesting question. I believe in my heart I won the election, and I won it very big.
You heard that. I believe it in my heart, that I won the election and won big. Where is the evidence that you won the election and won big? That is the question. Where is the evidence? Winning an election is not about what is in your heart or what you think or what you dreamed about last night, Paul Buchanan. Winning an election is about how many ballots were in the box. When it turned up at the counting station and they count the ballots the following morning, how many you got and how many did your opponent get? It is as simple as that. If your opponent received more votes than you, then your opponent won. How your heart come into it, how your beliefs come into it. And Shelley, having heard him, failed to ask that critical question.
One of the things you need to know, and I want the world, everybody to listen. There are 33,000 voters in that constituency. There is 8,000. We have 3 divisions. 8,000 in the civil right division, smallest. We have 11,000 in Olympic, which is Mr. Seaga's strong area.
Mr. Holmes.
Mr. Holness's strong area. And there is Mullines, which has 13,400, by far the largest. We have never lost it, not since adult suffrage. Andrew knew that if Mullines came out, the election was lost, no matter what he did down at Olympic, which is a stronghold.
Here he is pretending as if he's stupid. 11,000 in Olympic Gardens and 8,900 in Civil Right Gardens. Both divisions are strongholds of the JLP. He's pretending as if it is only Olympic Gardens. No, it's both. When you add the two together, what you get is 19,993 voters in both divisions. So when he said that if the people of Mullines come out, there's nothing he can do to win in Olympic Gardens, he's trying to play the ass. Both divisions have far more than Mullines Gardens. 39% more voters in those 2 divisions. So what is he talking about? So let me pause here for a minute to show you some information that will be at the bottom of the video. Here you're looking at the Mullines Gardens election return. This would be the general election return from 2011 to 2025. You see the PNP in the top line, how many votes they got, and you see how many the JLP got for each election. In 2011, the PNP harnessed 3,774. This is what we call the Portia factor. Portia was very popular, and a lot of persons wanted to see her being prime minister, and so a lot of persons came out and voted in many areas. So we usually use this voting of 2011 as a kind of a benchmark to determine the turnout for subsequent elections. So we know how well the persons would have done or how badly. In this case, as you can see, the PNP for the Mullines Gardens got the most it has ever gotten, 3,774 for the 4 election cycles. By 2016, they lost, if you look in the last 3 columns, you see where it says 2016, they lost 92 votes. That minus 92 means they lost 92 votes. By 2020, the PNP lost 1,370, meaning for those persons who voted in 2016, 1,370 did not vote for the PNP in 2020. And then in 2025, Paul Buchanan was able to get out 486 more PNP voters. However, that did not bring the party back up to what it got in 2011. So he would have lost 976 votes. Yes. Now, look at the Jamaica Labour Party. Look at Andrew Holness. And this, remember, there are 3 divisions in West Central St. Andrew. And of the 3, the JLP is strong in 2 and the PNP in 1, Mullines Gardens. The other 2 divisions with Olympic Gardens and Seavright Gardens, as I said before, that's the JLP strongholds. All right, so this is what he is about to explain. But I'm going to show you the results in the other 2 divisions. Now, look at the PNP support for 2011 and 2016. As you can see, it's over 3,000. But for 2020 and 2025, as you can see, it's under 3,000. Then look now at what Andrew Holness was getting from this PNP stronghold. He got 1951 and 2,137 in 2011 and 2016. Since then, he has gotten below 1,700 votes. Now, we are going to look now at the other 2 divisions. We're going to look first at Olympic Gardens. So let's now look at the voter turnout for the Jamaica Labour Party. As you can see, it's been over 3,000 for the past 4 elections, from 2011, 2016, 2020, even during that time when a lot of constituencies lost votes. As you can see, they were losing, but it was still over 3,000. And in 2025, 3,000 again. So there's a consistent pattern that we're looking at here. Now let's look now at the PNP. You see, with the Porsche factor in 2011, the PNP got the most it has ever gotten out of this constituency, at least for the past 4 election cycles. 1649, then it dropped in 2016, and it dropped significantly in 2020. And he was able to gain back 291 of those votes that were lost in 2020. But as you can see in the final column, he still was 443 short of what the PNP was in 2011. That's what this is saying. So you see the pattern. The most the PNP ever got in Olympic Gardens is 1649. And they lost significant votes from then. And then all he was able to get back was 291 votes. That's what it says in the gray section of 2025. And he still was not in a position to overall Andrew Holness. Let's now look at Seavright Gardens. So let's take a look now at Seavright Gardens. Now, as you can see, Holness never received 3,000 votes. The most he has ever received was 2016, 2007, 28. Right? And this is the pattern. And as you can see, in 2025, it followed the same pattern, except he had lost some votes. He had lost 468 votes in 2020, and he gained back those votes and a little more than before. He got 26 more. But if you look, you will notice that he still did not get back the votes that he had before. He still was short by 273. So he lost some votes. But that is the pattern from 2011, 2016, 2020, and 2025. Now look now at the result for the PNP. Now, the candidate who was running for the PNP in those days was Patrick Roberts. And as you can see, the most he ever got, again, it's a Porsche factor. He got 1,377 votes, then a little bit less, and significantly less in 2020. And Paul Buchanan got back some of it. He got 278 more than in 2020, but he was still short by 401. So as you can see, the PNP lost more votes than the JLP. And this is why they call this a JLP stronghold. Look at the number of votes. 2,286 for the Labour Party, 976 for Paul Buchanan. And it was following a pattern. You follow? Both cases. So when he's going to come his argument that he could have won, I don't know where, must be in his dream, right? He needed to have gotten 2,286 or more votes in order to beat Holness in this division. And there was no way he was going to get that because they don't have enough PNP there to achieve that. Now at the bottom in green, that is the margin of victory for Andrew Holness in this particular division, right? In 2025, it was 1,310. That's how distant he was from Paul Buchanan. The margin of victory in Olympic Gardens in 2025 was 1,946. That's how much more votes Holness had above Paul Buchanan. When you look at Malines Gardens, the margin of victory for Buchanan, the PNP, is 1,146. When you add up the results from the 3 divisions, the PNP got in 2025 4,980. And that is the second lowest that the PNP got. The lowest was in 2020, 3,925. So he was able only to eke out a little over 1,000 votes. But how did the PNP did in 2011 and 2016? With the Portia factor, the PNP got 6,760 votes, and by 2016, 6,499 votes. So Paul Buchanan was way off what the PNP got under Portia in both occasions. Indeed, he was so way off by 1,780 votes. Now, Holness did lose some votes too. He got 7,090 in the last election. And the most he got was in 2016, 8,563. What he lost overall was 709. So compare the 709 that Holness lost and the 1,780 that the PNP lost with Buchanan. Now that you have the background, let's continue to hear what he has to say.
On election day, or maybe before, Mullines was part of the wholesale targeting of strong PNP PDs in constituencies right across the country, and no more so than in Mullines. Let me prove it. Mullines, where civil right vote and Olympic vote went up, one respectively, one went up, Olympic went up 40%, civil right went up 70%, 60, 70%. Mullines went down 50%, the other direction.
The other direction.
The strongest area.
So let's do our fact check. What is he talking about? The voter turnout was 50% lower in his strongest division. What is he talking about? Look at the figure for 2020. 2,312. That's what it was. And in 2025, 2,798. That's an increase. And when you do the percentage increase, the 486 increase works out to 21%. So he had gotten a 21% increase over 2020. When he spoke about Olympic Garden and talk about the increase was 70%, remember 2020 was the lowest. And so he was able to increase the voting in those areas for the PNP, 32% for Olympic Gardens and 40% for Seabright Gardens. So his figures that he's talking about increase was conjured up in his head, perhaps for effect, to promote the idea that that is what he got in the other divisions. And so in Mullines Gardens, it fell by 70%. As you can see, not Nagoso. Straw man he built in order to present an argument of something being unusual about the election results. He got more for each one of the divisions, and that's a fact, not less. He then spoke about
where my canvas was showing 7,000 voters.
His canvas showed him 7,000, right? I suppose he's so enamored with himself and think he's so bright and brilliant that he never suspected something was wrong with that canvas. I wonder if it's one of them young ladies there that was sitting on his face that went and did this lovely canvas for him. 7,000. And as you can see, the PNP never got more than 3,774 in the last 4 elections, right? This is something that he either made up or his canvas did show 7,000 persons coming out to vote for him. And of course, experience should have taught him, right, from the results that he wasn't going to get that figure. And even so, you look at the Don Anderson poll the Sunday before the election. Didn't Don Anderson say that it was only 4.8% said they weren't going to vote? That meant that he was expecting 95.2% of the people to come out and vote. Which part that ever happened in Jamaica's history? And what was the result in the end? 39.something% people came out to vote. So his numbers were way out. And as a consequence, the declarant that he had for the election, the PNP, with 3.1 points ahead, and they lost. Big too. I mean, 28 to 35 seats. That's big. That's a big loss. That's not that close. And so here he is coming out to tell us that his canvas shows 7,000 and his count numbers dipped by 70%. Where? What is he talking about? Not Nagoso. And I wonder if this is the kind of rubbish input in the court document, right? But these risers have been showing a propensity of telling tall tales that can be easily proven. They either don't care or they're simply just stupid.
Where everything on election day, every outturn in terms of people support, new people coming to vote, everything. There was celebration from 7 o'clock. We were, but the results in the boxes and the counting did not reflect that vote in Molynes.
It has always been a fascinating thing for me to observe how stupid people always think they're so smart. This is a man who told Karen Cross that he's smart. He's the smartest man. And he was going to beat Andrew Holness. And did you know what this fool did? Molynes Gardens is only one out of the 3 that he can be sure of he's going to get a vote. If he's going to beat Andrew Holness, he needs to get the votes out of Molynes Gardens. Focus on that. And possibly focus on turning off his votes in the other 2 if he could. Do you know what this dunce did? He spent about 80% of his time and money in the 2 JLP divisions. Talk about him going to win JLP votes in a whole strong division. His ego told him that that is what he should do. And his common sense failed to tell him that what he ought to have done was to spend at least 60% of his time in his strong area and try to persuade those people who are willing to vote for him to come out and vote. 3,774. Instead, he was short by 1,000. Look at where he would have been. He would have been closer. And then you try and see now you can eke out as many out of the other 2 divisions. And then you'll be at least close before you can talk about winning. Instead, this fool believe in a country that is die-hearted PNP and die-hearted JLP that him could go persuade 2,000 or 3,000 JLP because he need 2,000. 3,000, 2,005 to win. And he thought he could persuade them, right? And left him flank open. The people not see him, the people don't know him, and the people don't like him because they heard that he was spending the money down in Olympic Gardens and down in a Seaview Gardens, and them now get the money that they were getting. So they were upset. And some came out and supported him, but he never got that 3,000 and would not have gotten it because he was not paying attention to him foul cub. Gone the next man yard. Gone take care of the next man foul cub. And look at what happened. Holness's voters came out for him. And then because he neglect his voters now, him now a baller talk about say him voters were what? Suppressed? Who suppressed them? Who suppressed his votes? It was his own stupidity and his own big ego. And here is a little man, I've never seen him. His own big ego that made him believe that he can go in at the man yard got broken foot. That's what this was all about. It was his ego, not his common sense that was working. So all you hear him talk on a boast talk about how much votes are in and how his votes were suppressed by 70%. There's the evidence. Not a thing that goes so. Lie. Either that or because he was not reading from notes, he forgot. But he ought to at least know that he got more votes than in 2020. He never lost anything, right? And he has nobody to blame but himself. He is the one who would have caused the numbers to be less than he could have gotten in Molynes Gardens had he paid attention to his own people instead of going on our next man yard, go show off his generosity and left him wife and picnic them a yard dead for hungry. That's essentially what he did in Molynes Gardens.
It was opposite. In fact, we got a data scientist to do his work and to analyze. And the conclusion drawn is that for us to get the outcome of 2,000, only 2,000 odd votes in Malines is less than 1 in 1,000.
Not only did you get 2,000 votes in 2025, but you did so again in 2020. So the odds were met on 2 occasions.
Wow.
So, as invidious and egregious as it is, voter suppression is not something that you see. It has to do with collusion across party lines. It has to do with collusion with people who have the authority and the know-how.
Are you prepared to say the Electoral Office of Jamaica has to know about it as well?
No, I can't do that. What I can say is that there was collusion.
Collusion with who?
Well, we have the players. You have the Electoral Office. You have the PNP actors like your indoor agents and that sort of thing, and you have the JLP. And wherever the equation comes, the outturn is what you saw in a number of constituencies across the island, all of the critical constituencies. For us to achieve that outcome in Malines, until my dying day, even from a layman perspective, it's not possible.
Did you hear what this man just said? Did you hear what this man just said? This ought to be an expellable offense, you know. The man has said on this program, right? You've seen the evidence and you've seen the pattern. And this man has the nerve to accuse the PNP indoor agent of selling out and colluding with the JLP's indoor agent to make him lose votes. How did they do it? And this young lady don't understand the process. So she couldn't ask him, how did they do it? How did the two indoor, remember the indoor agents are on the inside, you know. The job of the indoor agent is to tick off the names of her list that she has. She has her own list. And when she don't say Tom and don't say Jerry and don't say John, she send and tell them outside, me no see them three, you know. And then them supposed to go call them or go find them and bring them come. Right? He is saying that the indoor agents sabotage him. The PNP indoor agents in Malines Gardens sabotage him. Where is the evidence of that? Where's the evidence? It's 2 occasions that you see that the PNP got 2,000 votes. He neglected the division and gone play footsie with his opponent's division. Down the same was spending in money people were hearing in Malines Gardens. And them not see more than so. And now that it's time for the election, you may expect them to turn up. And the people evidently, working people, got them workplace. And say, F off to you, I imagine. And he's now saying, it is not my fault. It is not me. It is because people were colluding with the jail. I mean, had he just said that they were the ones that did not get the voters, is one thing. But to say that the PNP indoor agents were working with the JLP indoor agents, that's high treason in the PNP. That's what this man was accusing them of. Now, if I were there, I would write a letter to the disciplinary committee of the People's National Party and complain and make them haul his ass before them. Mind you, a socializer step on it, so I don't know what would be the outcome. Try. As a matter of fact, if I were there, all of the groups in Malines Gardens, write to the party, make every member of the group sign the petition to have his ass removed for his impertinence. Sign the petition. They have no choice but to remove him. Do not allow this man back into your constituency. He's damn out of order and wicked. He was sent there on a mission. And his mission was not to win the seat. His mission was to come with his lying stories. No part of his mission was that he should come out there, come and lie in the integrity of the indoor agents. That was not his mission. That's him going off on a frolic of his own. How can he say something like that about other party members? And uno go and sit down and tolerate it? Listen, if it's 30 groups in Malines Gardens, do a petition to the party. I think you do it to the general secretary. You can find out. You do a petition and make sure all the members of your group sign it. That means you have 100%, right? And get his ass out of that seat, make him go along somewhere else with him brains and him brilliance. He's damn out of order. How can he say something like that? What evidence he has of it? And I'm going to tell you something about who this man, Paul Buchanan, is. He was the same one who wrote a letter to, I believe it was the Observer, claiming that Norman Manley was not the founder of the People's National Party. You hear what I just say? He claimed that Norman Manley was not the founder of the People's National Party. According to him, it was a man named O.T. Fairclough. And then him spin a yarn. Oh my goodness, I don't know if Charles Dickens could have spin a yarn like him as to the role that O.T. Fairclough played in the formation of the People's National Party. And him do it. And him do it. And seeing come, you know, come with them stories about the indoor agents or collude. They mean the man's a fool. The man don't even say they never send out for the people. As if him don't understand how the process work. He had to say no, they were working with the JLP people on the inside to make him lose. No, why should this man stay in your seat? For those of you who are indoor agents working in the Alliance Gardens, understand this, that if you allow him to make this claim and get away with it, with the risers in charge, there's every possibility that you may not be selected to be indoor agent in future. Right? You may be blamed for the loss because of what he said. Your reputation is on the line, and I would advise you and urge you to make sure that it does not go without you protesting. Make him withdraw his words. And he must do it publicly, because it was publicly he came out and said it. Make him withdraw it publicly. He is damn out of order. Out of order. And obviously he has time to waste on money. And if him think that Mark Golding will go help him out, he make a sad mistake. Anyway, folks, that's it for me today. Thank you so much for joining me. If you found this video informative, please give the video a thumbs up and share. And until next time, take very good care of yourselves and walk good.